I'll continue about this building business and the collaboration with Academy of HRD and National HRD Network. Uh, Professor Vyas was having a house. In fact, Kasmavila row houses is filled with houses of IIM faculty, for mainly ex-directors. Ravi Mata himself had had a house. Then Samuel, not Paul, I'm not sure, but Srinivas Murthy had a house. Pradeep Khandwala had a house. So this is all, the secret of all this is because one of our doctoral students happened to be the builder. He was constructing this and he approached a large number of IIM people to invest in this. And it was, when he started, it was hardly 45 lakhs, 45,000 to a lakh of rupees. But when we bought it, it was something like 4 lakhs of rupees. And Vyas house is much bigger than 12 Cosmoville. Vyas house had a basement and then he had some open space and all that. That is why it cost us more. So it was 5 lakhs of rupees with which we bought Professor Vyas house. And it was Rajesh Vidyasagar, Keith, and myself identified Babu Raj Nair. Babu Raj Nair used to be in Ahmedabad, but he was at the time in Bangalore. So we interviewed him and we thought he will be a good person. He has a flavor for writing, he has a professional attitude, and he also has a secretarial skills. So we appointed him and we gave the Cosmoville row houses. He is in charge. So he shifted, got the registered office of National HRD Network to number 40 Cosmoville row houses. And we were using because Vyas house had quite a bit of accommodation there. There is a basement which we use as a library, and other rooms we have used for conducting sometimes our informal discussions. And we also started a not-for-profit center because Academy of HRD was set up to promote not-for-profit sectors. And we got a huge grant from one organization, EZD Germany. I think the grant was almost about 50 lakhs of rupees to create OD in not-for-profit sector, OD in NGOs. In fact, the German team visited the academy and saw what academy was doing, and requested academy to use a term like self-renewal rather than OD. He said some of the NGOs don't like the term organization development, so better let's come up with a new term. In fact, we had a whole series of meetings on this. The meetings were held in 40 Cosmovilla, but these were organized by Trello Cosmoville, that is the Academy of HRD. Academy of HRD consisted there of Keith D'Souza, who was the full-time director, and myself as a kind of a. Once Keith was appointed, I am no more honorary director. I am simply, I don't even know what is the kind of role I had, except that I'm one of the promoters, and I think it was Keith who got the Academy of HRD registered. And I must also say, one of the reasons why we registered, when HRD Network invested a lakh and a half in the Academy of HRD's building, and then he started its own diploma program. We started a diploma program, and our first diploma program, the whole idea again was like Indira Gandhi Open University. There are a large number of executives who are having HR roles or HR designations or personal designations, but not having the required kind of HR knowledge. Therefore, we must conceptualize, and in fact, we identified uh, some criteria. We established also an academic council of the Academy of HRD. And the academic council for some time was chaired by Professor Ramnarayan, and it consisted of professors, excellent professors from across the country. Almost all, we had about 40 to 50 professors. The academic council of the Academy of HRD consisted of all the presidents of National HRD Network, all the board members of National HRD Network, and prominent professionals and professors from across the country, which included people like Rajan Gupta, uh, KB Akhilesh, of course, Uday Parikh anyway is a board member, and had Abad Ahmad, had Nagabrahmam, had people like Balaji, and so on from across the country. Some from IIM Bangalore, some from IIM Calcutta, some from XLRI Jamshedpur, all of them. So about 40 to 50 academic council. The first large academic council meeting was held, if I recollect, in the 1993 conference at Bangalore, and that was again a landmark conference. That particular conference was done during, I think, if Uday Parikh took over 91 to 93 during Uday's time. As Uday's term was getting over, I think that was the time. By the time Mahesh did not come into picture, it was during the Uday Parikh's tenure we held the Bangalore conference, which R.R. Nair, Rupa Padki, and all of them coordinated. And then they also brought out a beautiful book uh, of papers. That was the time when we honored people like Khandwala for their contributions, K.L. Chugh, and also from Levers, one of the Levers chairman at the time, who was very famous, and so on. I think a large number of people we honored in the 1993 conference. And in this conference, we had the first academic council, full academic council meeting, attended almost by about 35 to 40 people who came for the conference of National HRD Network. And that was the time when we discussed about the uh, uh, the diploma program, how it was going, and also conceptualized the doctoral fellow program and so on. So, in the academy, if one goes through the minutes of the Academy of HRD, you will find the academic council minutes and so on. Also, back home in Ahmedabad, what HRD Academy was doing was to facilitating holding of all these conferences, and also facilitating networks work, because although Baburaj Nair was there, he needed a lot of help. The director Academy of HRD was providing all the help, and that was Keith D'Souza, because Keith had all the idea about what was going on in the national HRD network. There are two landmark contributions that were made by the Academy of HRD to HRD network. These include, I think, streamlining the administrative processes of the HRD Academy. Um, Those days, for the first time, Academy of HRD collected all the mail IDs from all chapters and brought out a special issue of the HRD newsletter. This was by the Academy of HRD. First newsletter, printing the no, there was no email at the time. The physical mailing addresses of all, I think at the time maybe some 4,000 or 5,000 members across the country, the National HRD network. This is a great contribution. Second thing they did was streamline the administration by publicizing the roles of chapters and what should they be doing, and then details of I think all the events held, history of all the events held, and things like that. Also, I think to run the newsletter, they need the content. And where do you get the content? Academy became the source of giving the content to National HRD Network, HRD newsletter. This continued almost till the year 1999, when Academy, although Academy shifted in 95 or 96 to Hyderabad, Baburaj Nair also shifted along with the Academy. And Keith, of course, went back to XLRI. Setu Madhavan was identified as the director, and after him, Balaji took over. During their period, also, Baburaj Nair continued to be secretary of HRD Network, and he was publishing very meticulously the HRD newsletter. It was still a joint publication of HRD Network and XLRI Jamshedpur. Since Father Abraham knew us, and he was most of the time he was there as the director XLRI, or Keith D'Souza as the dean, and so on, we always had good kind of linkages between the HRD network and the Academy of HRD. Now back to the Academy of HRD, the initial years. We got a house where I think Academy of HRD was housed. Then we created a very interesting kind of understanding. I must mention the dream of Academy of HRD at that time was, I think, as envisaged by National HRD Network, we thought it should become a national as well as an international center to promote research and also to keep documentation. In fact, the vision of Academy of HRD starts with having a great library where you name the resource across the world on HRD, it should be available. I must say This is something which probably was a personal mission for me. I continue to have this individualized mission. So in my own company, TVRLS, you will find most of the most recent books. And I wish the Academy of HRD also does that. Both Setu and Balaji have done that to a large extent. In fact, I shifted all my data, my consulting, whatever at IIM I collected the profiles of different companies as a part of the consulting work we have done. We shifted to the academy, and academy shifted from Ahmedabad to Hyderabad. And of course, when academy came back to Ahmedabad, most of those things were destroyed. Maybe also they all became dated because these consulting reports or profiles of companies in the last 20 years have changed so much. They probably are not of any great value except some kind of historical value. So back here, when we started the academy, we had the dream of making it a clear house of clearing house of the all the data. That means you have to collect data. So knowledge generation, knowledge dissemination, and a USP was educational programs. And we said HRD should not, academy should not start another postgraduate program. This we are very clear from the beginning. We should not be starting another 2-year postgraduate program because there are so many institutions that have started already a 2-year postgraduate program. But we should add value to those institutions which have already started postgraduate program. That's how we collaborated with SCM HRD. We used to offer some courses for SCM HRD. We collaborated with All India Management Association, started a joint diploma, and later started providing inputs for them. We collaborated with Indira Gandhi Open University and contributed to their MS22, which of course largely came from HRD Network as well as the Academy of HRD. And then we also started this collaborative doctoral program, the fellow program uh, in HRD. I'm sure I've talked elsewhere the entire rationale behind the fellow program in HRD, how I struggled hard to start a fellow program in management with Indira Gandhi Open University in 1985-86 when I was on the planning board of the Indira Gandhi Open University. Ram Reddy agreed that he would start a doctoral program on a distance mode education basis and offer a few courses, basic courses, and get managers to work on the data they are sitting on, so that they can also get a doctorate and IGNOU you can contribute to the body of knowledge. Unfortunately, by the time I sent a formal proposal, he shifted to Canada, and Kulandai Swami, who became the next vice chancellor, did not have much of an interest because by the time already there were interdepartmental conflicts within Indira Gandhi Open University, and they didn't want management school to do any more than doing a master's program because other people have not even started a bachelor's program. So this is the usual Indian mindset, what we call as the crab mentality. Somebody went ahead, pull that particular person back. So our doctoral program never took off, but our concept remained. Our diploma program started off well. Again, the model of we actually gave a model to Indira Gandhi Open University. 8 courses to be done. Courses like basic human process, basic understanding of organizations, performance appraisals, and HRD for workmen, training and development, career planning and development, feedback and coaching, organization development, and so on. We said that these 8 courses are very important for anybody to call himself a HR professional. And we recommended to all B schools which are doing masters in HR, make sure that you have these 8 courses. If you don't have, you cannot be considered as complete in terms of the HR. And we started our diploma and we graduated almost about 130 people in the first year itself of running that particular kind of a program. So a diploma program and a fellow program for which we have signed an MOU with the XLRI and round tables which we conducted where across various themes. One on workmen, one on promotion policies, one on the role of IR union leaders in HR, and so on. I think these also provided a lot of inputs for the HRD newsletter and so on. So, friends, HRD Academy made a lot of difference to National HRD Network, and it became a platform for HRD network to uh, generate and achieve its own objectives.